Alright, so for anyone in the back, if I start getting quiet here for the as the presentation goes on, just go, I can't hear you, or not, and I'll talk up again. So, speak English. There we go. Alright, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andy Rambadt. So, thank you. Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you for coming to my Capstone presentation today. And I know it's kind of late on a Friday afternoon, so I know it kind of is a trek to get here for some of you, and also it's just cold out. So just want to say thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. So without further ado, we'll get started. So just so you guys know, this is what we'll be talking about today. I want to give you a preface. That way, if you need to choose a time to take a nap, you'll know when to, and then when to wake up. So the Capstone class this year, we started to do, there's a new thing that they did, to add more of a academic side to the presentation. So you take a social concern and you do some research on it and then discuss it and see if there's any improvements or adjustments that you think can be made, as well as this typical Capstone presentation, which talks about personally, and then the 4 pillars of Holy Cross College. So, there you go. Graphics. Social concern. Which one did I choose? Recycling. So my social concern that I chose to talk about today is recycling and what happens after it's collected, after it's taken away from the curb at your home. So real quick, volunteers from the crowd. What is recycling? Oh, Diego, actually, yeah.
That's like when you get something so it can be reused, right?
Right, reuse. Something that you use, put in the blue bin, and it gets a new life, you could say. Anybody else? What's their definition of recycling? Okay, that pretty much covers it. So, yes, it's true. It's true. That is the ideal way. In a perfect world, that's what we strive for. However, how many people recycle? Fortunately, it's not as high as you think. So the U.S. recycling rate is 32%. So the other 68% gets thrown into the landfill. And of that 32%, and today we'll be talking about specifically plastics, only 5% are actually recycled. It's like, okay, that doesn't seem right. Why am I recycling in the first place? And it's not that we are recycling with that intention or we're doing it half-heartedly. Most of us have, full intention when recycling. We want it to basically be put back on the shelf in another container, per se. But only 5% of plastics actually get recycled. And why is that? It's because of contamination. And contamination is the mixing of different plastic resin types amongst all together in one bin. So say your typical ones and twos, right? So ones would be your plastic water bottles, Dasani, Ice Mountain, whatever you drink, and then number 2 would be your milk jugs and whatnot. Those are the typical, out of all the different recycling programs, those are the 2 that are most generally recycled very easily. There's some cities, say South Bend, it's actually one of them. They recycle plastics all the way from 1 to 5. They skip 6, and then they can do 7 as well. The thing is that when you try to recycle these materials all together, because of the different resin or the chemistry of them, they can't be used if they're all put together. So they have to be 1, 2, 3, in different categories. And that's caused kind of a problem. Because when you go to the grocery store today, right, you get a jar of peanut butter, and you eat all the peanut butter because you're really hungry, and you look at the bottom of the container, and you see the chasing arrow symbol. That's the 3 arrows. You say, oh, it's got a recycling sign. It means I can recycle it, right? Not always. So usually if that's a 4 or a 3, it actually can't be recycled in most cities. So that's what's tricky. Unfortunately, that symbol is kind of a marketing gimmick to help the the consumer feel less responsible for any waste or any products that they buy. And so, yeah, it's kind of sad, but what can we do to fix it? Oh, sorry. Just kidding. Okay. No, so there is stuff we can do. There is stuff we can do. One of the biggest causes for lack of proper recycling is lack of education. How many here today knew about the different numbers on the recycling, like say 1 through 7 on little triangles? How many people knew about that? Okay? Alright, so less than half. That's crazy. But it's okay because that's how it's marketed to you. But let's rise above that, right? But we can only do that as a society. So if we have more education on how to properly recycle, we'll be a better place, as well as having the availability to recycle. So some of you guys have been outside the US, and you've noticed that their waste management program involves maybe 3 to 4 or 5, maybe 6 bins that you can sort out your waste into. So say I was in Italy about 2 years ago, and that's the first time I saw the difference between the US and over there. So in the US you have 1 bin, throw everything in there, right? Which is great, not littering, but there's more we can do. So in Italy they have compost, they have paper, they have aluminum, they have plastic, and they have, I think, electronics. There might be another one I missed, glass. And so that already pre-sorts the material so that when it goes to the processing facilities, it's better sorted out so that it can be sold back to manufacturers who will take that product and turn it into a recycled container, which is great. And better labeling. Better labeling is something that we can improve on. So when something says recyclable, it's not always recyclable. But just because it has that logo doesn't mean it's recyclable. Kind of a marketing gimmick. Like say if you take a Pringles can, it has recycled on the side, like recyclable material. But it says multi-material recyclable. So there's not very many manufacturers or processing plants for recycling that want to take that Pringles can and separate the aluminum foil from the inside of the paper and then take the plastic lid and put it in a different place. It just takes too much effort, so it just gets thrown into the landfill. And so that leads to another thing that when companies manufacture products, they should really start, and it should be regulated. There's actually no current federal regulations on manufacturing as well as recycling in the United States. But if they begin to make their products in more universal plastic, say, then it can be recycled a little bit better. Or if we just get rid of all plastics, it'd be crazy, awesome, but we live in the world. So, and then further research. Unfortunately, right now, in the processing plants, we for recycling, there's a lot of things that get missed. So, with contamination, that is when something is mixed too much with a different type of plastic, right? And there's not enough manpower to sort all that out at once. So if there's a batch that's too contaminated, it just gets thrown out. There's been times where there's just truckloads of this that get thrown out and sent to the landfill instead of properly recycled. However, if there's more research that's done with possibly using AI, everybody likes that word, AI, to view the materials and kind of be able to sort it out that way with mechanical arms and whatnot, might give us a leg up in this situation. And for another further research, thing that I believe would be really, really great is if we design packaging that gets reused time and time again. You think about like glass milk crates, right? It used to be a thing that you'd have the milkman come to your house and he'd put it on the front doorstep. You drink the milk, whatever, and the next week, whatever day it was, he put those back on the step, and then he takes the empty ones, puts the new ones there, creating a loop, less waste. So, yeah. So that's what I have for the research side of things, and so I'd like to move into a little bit more about my life. All right, Duke in Altum. This is a motto for me. Anybody know what it means? Yes. Luke.
Cast into the depths.
Cast into the depths. Yeah, and a different translation for me was put out into the deep. Yes, cast into the depths. This was told to me by a dear friend of mine when I was going through some things. And I had a hard time discerning what to do. And he said, Andy, just put out into the deep. Get past the small wave, the one that might be the roughest, to get what you really long for. It's out there. Cast your nets deep. So it's pretty cool. This is what Jesus told Peter. So when he said, hey, go fishing for some fish, right? So put it out into the deep. All right. So my parents, yes. So as you guys can tell, my mom and my dad, they are the mom and dad time representatives. So yeah, this is, I actually don't know when this one photo was. I think it was their wedding day or soon after it. Okay, maybe not. All right. All right. So, and then right below that photo is part of my family. I think we're all there. Yes, Peter's there, so he's the youngest. But yeah, so I have 7 siblings. In total, it's 8, right? So 4 and 4 boys, 4 girls. I'm second to last. So I got all the hand-me-downs, which is great, except most of the time the blue jeans did not fit me correctly. So, but I was blessed to have a big family. We were all close too. I know that sometimes it's not the case for all families, but I was blessed to have that. And then just lastly, I wanted to put a photo of my dad up here. I think this is in 9th grade. And just wanted to show you guys where I got my sense of style. All right. So, my hometown. Brother, I'm looking at you when I say this. We have a long-going joke that he makes fun of Sturgis, Michigan. So Sturgis, Michigan is where I grew up. It's about an hour away from here. You get on the toll road, drive about 45 minutes east, get off the toll road at the exit for Sturgis, drive about 10 minutes north, and you're there. I actually grew about 7 miles north of the city, so out on 14 acres of property, where I was able to be a boy, and play in the woods and whatnot. For those who think that Sturgis is the one that has the motorcycle rally in it, it's not. That's Sturgis, South Dakota. So just to clear that up. And one last cool fact about Sturgis is that it is the town that has the last Hot Now location. So I don't know if anybody knows what a Hot Now is. No? Nobody. Oh, perfect. Okay, all right. We got 3, 4. Okay, all right. This is good. This is great. Yeah. So, yes, good memories there. I think there was even someone who got proposed there because it was the last one. So, yeah, go small town. So, before Holy Cross College, I was busy being a baby, which is good. I think everyone exists at one point. But seriously, I grew up, had a lot of fun. I was homeschooled. If you guys weren't able to tell. So I went to Seton Home Study School, which is an academy in Front Royal, Virginia. And so that was really fun. It was really good. The professors there were kind of difficult. I say professors because the teachers, I guess you could say, for the academy came from the college next to it, Christian College. So the professors grading high school papers, which is not great my freshman year there. My freshman year, sending the papers, but by the senior year, I got to hang on it. So after I graduated high school, went to Glen Oaks Community College, which was about 5 minutes from my home, and was there for about 3 years, during which I was also working for an electrical company, High Tech Electric, trying to become an electrical journeyman. So yeah, it's kind of a wide span of job abilities, I guess you could say, that I was shooting for. I decided to drop out of the electrical apprentice just because it was a long drive. It was about an hour away. and I didn't think that was the environment I wanted to be into. So after 3 years, took 3 years to get the associates in general studies, I took a gap year, and I believe, if I remember this correctly, I went to a Notre Dame football game in, I think it was 2019, and it was really fun. You know, I actually, before that point, I didn't realize that Notre Dame was in South Bend, Indiana, which is kind of crazy because I've been there a lot during my life. And I came home, and I talked to my godmother, who's right here, and she's like, hey, you should put an application in to Notre Dame. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, all right, don't tell me twice. So I did, I put it in, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll get a leg up on this, and I'll do a repeat Rudy. So I put in an application at the Compton Ice Rink. I started working there thinking, oh yeah, I'll get in this way, that'd be great. So, however, I did not get in, got rejected, and I was kind of bummed out. But I said, hey, you know what, I'm down here in South Bend, maybe I'll go another round. And so I started working at the campus card office on Notre Dame. There's a big influx of students, and so they need to make a lot of cards, ID cards, and so I started working there. And so this is where it starts getting interesting, you know, now that you know the backstory. There was one morning, I think it was about like 7:40 or whatnot, I show up to work early. And because I'm only a temporary position, or a temporary employee, I have to wait outside, I don't have keys. And so while I'm waiting, I'm sitting on this bench outside the door. This one priest comes up to me, and his name is Father Rambadt. And he's like, oh, you can open the door? I'm like, no, I don't have keys. And so he sits down next to me, and he's like, all right, so what do you do? And so I told him my life story, what happened, you know, I got rejected. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And then a long break, you know, long silence. I'm like, okay, man, give me something. And he's like, hey, oh, you know what, you should apply to Holy Cross College. And I was like, I don't know where that's at. He's like, it's literally 5 minutes from here. I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. He's like, you should do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I put in my application, and about a month later, I got news back that I was accepted, and there was a scholarship. I was like, okay, all right, this makes sense, but I'm not sure. So I came for a tour, and the two people I met first here at campus, one of them was Nick Surratt, and the second one was Grant back there. Yeah, so way to go, Grant. It's great. But it was after talking to these two gentlemen that I realized that Holy Cross College was going to be the place for me because they knew me. So starting at Holy Cross, it was great, you know, getting all the paperwork around, getting the health forms, all the housing stuff figured out, the financial, all that, and the student ID photo. Yeah, so my brother and I, we had some fun with this. I thought, okay, I'm going to send in a photo that they're going to reject, or at least I'm going to try to see if they can reject the photo. And it turns out they did not reject the photo, and this is what I have today. So, yeah, that's great. It's great. So again, where I get my sense of style, you know, like that, it's great. Turtlenecks. But yeah, it's, you know, it was kind of funny. We had a whole photo shoot with this outfit. I think, you know, this photo, I think I'm standing over the basement toilet because that was the only room that had pink walls. My brother said we're in the sink. I don't think you can see the reflection of the glasses, but yeah, I forgot about it until I showed up to campus. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta pick up my ID card. And I looked at it, and sure enough, there it was. So yeah, I felt like home. I don't know how much of that you could hear, but that's okay. All right, so engaged scholar. We're going to go ahead and move into the 4 pillars of Holy Cross. Starting off with scholar. Right? We like to call it engaged scholar, because I think that's really what it is. Before I came to Holy Cross, I would do the work, right? I'd do the assignments in school to get them done, but I didn't know exactly why, or I wouldn't ask questions why. I'd just say, there's more this is what it is, not this is why this is, and why does it matter. But here it kind of changed my perspective. I now ask why a lot more than I ask what, which is kind of cool. So in the black, that's the list of all the different classes I took while here. But there was 4 main classes that had the biggest impact on me. Starting off with Theo 140. This was in my first year here, so when I transferred in, this was the first class I took. It was at 8 a.m. It was Monday morning. I was really nervous, and then this guy walks in, this PhD, Dr. Elron walks in. It's the first professor I see on campus. And we start doing the class, and after the class, I was smiling from ear to ear just because I realized, this is different than what I could have ever expected. And this is where I'm supposed to be. Another class that I took that had a big impact was Theo 244, Christ Church and Science. That was taught by a few different tri-campus professors. And it was really cool. It was really cool because I never had that opportunity to kind of mingle across the tri-campus with other students. And this is where I kind of fell in love with integral ecology. That's realizing that everything is connected. Everything has a string to it, and what you do now, today, affects later in life. Or the actions you take today will make an impact on another person down the road. So it's really cool. And then philosophy. Philosophy 255 is business ethics. For a long time, I thought businessmen are kind of evil people, right? But they're not if they have good ethics. So that can be a very tricky thing at times. But this is Professor Schwenkler. She helped me see the beauty in business and the good that can come out of it. And after this class is when I actually switched my major to business from psychology. And then the final class that had the greatest impact on me was Psychology 275, Statistics for Social Sciences. If anybody knows that class, you know what I'm getting at here when I say the mathematics are very difficult. I think the first test I had, or the first quiz, I think I got a 57 on. But Dr. Fox, she saw something in me, some potential, and she worked with me on trying to improve my grade and understand the material. And by the end of it, I had the highest grade in the class. I think 110 on the final exam because of extra credit. So, thank you, Dr. Fox. Then Courageous Citizen. So I did a lot of volunteering around here, especially Our Lady of the Road. And I thought this was interesting because the first time I went there, I was a little shocked. And I thought, man, I don't know about this. This is out of my comfort zone. I think that's why it was good. It was out of my comfort zone. And because of some of the classes I took, I came to realize that maybe I wasn't giving humans or everyone the same level of dignity that I should have. So I kept going. And some people refer to the individuals at Our Lady of the Road as homeless. I think now, I used to do that, but I truly see them as fellow friends. So you should try it sometime. It might impact your life. Club involvement. So I was kind of in and out of clubs a lot. Those who know me, I would move around a lot. I was always in a fast pace. But one that I did enjoy a lot, one class session was the Common Home Group when we talked about Laudato Si platform, which was really cool. We actually set out here at St. Square and we read through the whole Laudato Si. And And it was a very good experience, and that was kind of the first time I actually heard of Ledanto C. So it was really cool. And after that, just tried to be more involved in that club as well as the other ones around me. Last and more importantly, actually, this is the one I think is my favorite, the Breakfast Club. So yes, if you're a member of the Breakfast Club, please raise your hand. All right, that's great. That's great. Yes. So I hope we're all in the same Breakfast Club. But every morning for a very long time, recently I've been, but we would meet every morning, either after morning prayer or just around 7:30 when the dining hall opened, before it opened at 7:15. And we would eat breakfast together. And we would talk about life. And we would talk about Sturgis and how terrible it was. And we would solve the world's problems, per se, or we think we would. But in all reality, we would build each other up. And we would check in on each other. So it's a very, very important thing to me. So thank you guys for that. All right, so virtuous leader. What is a virtuous leader? It's someone who does activities or leads others, not only when others are around, but when nobody can see them. Right, so I had the opportunity to participate in two different summer programs, one Cross at Anchor, and the other one Saints and Scholars. I did that for 2 years. I really enjoyed it. I gotta say, the second year I did those programs was my favorite, because I was able to take a step back and see the good that was happening. Not just through the students, but through the bonding of the different mentors that were helping out. And it was really beautiful to see. Realizing that something that you do makes an impact in the world, is something that money can't buy, something that is the most fulfilling thing that you can achieve. So I'm very grateful I had those opportunities to do those programs. I also was part of the SOAR leadership team. So that was when, right before the school season started, did a kind of a school visit to get classes figured out, some orientation type stuff for incoming freshmen. That was fun. That was very fun. I did that for 2 years. And the second year, I think I had more energy than the first. So if you're a freshman here and I was too crazy this past year, I apologize. But I hope it didn't scare you off. So not this past year, but last year I was a resident assistant. And that was fun. However, to be completely honest, I realized that maybe that's not a skill set I thrive in. To be completely transparent, it was a lot of work, and I struggled with the time management of it. And I think the biggest thing is I didn't ask for help. And that was a big lesson. Leaders can learn lessons. Is what I kind of take away from this. But as the end of that year happened to come to a close, where it came to a close, there was some growth there. That we all need each other, and no one can be a one-man show to make the good of others happen. So, yeah. Okay, and passionate disciple. So this is probably the one I resonate with the most because of how much I have been involved in campus ministry. And nowadays, I think majority of the time, the reasons why I come to class is because I come to campus is because of class and because of campus ministry events. So yeah, there's been a lot of new growth these past 2 years with the ofrenda tables and the different cultures that we've kind of been involved in. Mainly the Hispanic culture. Like say today, we did the Our Lady of Guadalupe reenactment. For those who are there, thank you for coming. But it's really helped me to gain a deeper devotion to our Lord, to the saints, and to Our Lady. I've also had the opportunity to become a sacristan, setting up for Mass and realizing the importance of the Eucharist, gaining that reverence for Him, as well as through reading and being able to distribute the Eucharist. It's been really cool. I think lastly, something I've tried to carry through the whole time I've been here is to pay it forward. Someone told me that one time, and I was like, oh, I like that. So I don't know what it means though. And he's like, well, people do things to you all the time. So pay it forward. Instead of having them pay you back, just tell them to do the same. So yeah, just try to pay it forward because I know I've been blessed in many ways. All right. So the big question, drum roll please. What is next? Not certain, but I have some ideas, okay? I'm not just in the water here. I'm very comfortable with the fact that I'm in discernment right now for my mission in life. But some things I am discerning is occupational therapy school, or to get a master's in theology, or to continue or either way, I'll be continuing woodworking. It's a side hustle, you could say, and maybe paying off some debt. Very little, but it's still there. So, but I still have one more semester left. So in that time, I plan on doing some volunteering at the Ronald McDonald House and La Casa de Amistad to help me discern a little deeper. Because we all have a mission, right? It's just trying to figure out what that mission is. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to try to put out into the deep. All right. Thank you.
Before we open it up for questions.
Yeah, what's up, David?
What's your favorite color?
Oh, gee, okay. My favorite color, I'm going to say it changes from time to time, but I'd say right now it is blue.
Good answer. Yeah. I like that.
Yes.
If you could give any advice to your 18-year-old self, what would it be?
Well, that's deep. Okay.
That's why you're
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I think this kind of came to me right away. I just wanted to make sure I say this to the full impact. So growing up, I always had siblings to lean on, right? Which is great. You could say growing in the shadow of some of my siblings, but in a good way. So when it was my time to leave the house or to make a move, I kind of got scared because I was no longer in the shadow. I was in the light. And so I think that the biggest piece of advice I would tell my 18-year-old self is do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Because the world is so big, right? And there's so many things you can do. And you will not fail. You will not fail. So yeah, do not be afraid is what I would tell my 18-year-old self. Yes, Grant.
So I've gotten to know you in a different way than I would say a lot of other people have in this room. And it feels that you portray a very bold soul in a good way, right? Like you're very calculated and articulated in even the response that you've given to the question so far. How do you want to make sure that you can maintain that that style, that appearance that you come across as you continue to go out into more of the unknown?
Yeah. Okay. This is a good question. Yeah, one moment. I'm not going to disappear, but I got to grab something from my bag.
Here you go.
Okay, that's a very good question. I think I've asked myself that before, because the fact is we don't know what is next. We know what has happened, we know what might happen, but we don't know what will happen. And a very wise man told me that to succeed in life, and not just in money, right? Because that's not what life's about. To succeed in your goals and in your passion, you need to write them down. You need to write them down and keep track of what you do so that you can see where you have come and see where you want to go. And so, yeah, I'll just go to the first page here. The way that I hope to keep that is very simple. It's by making notes. So, I keep this book in my pocket. It's in my bag, but I keep it in my pocket. And if I have an idea, I'll write something down. If I have something to do, I'll make a list. But yeah, keeping notes so that I can go back and look. If I can check it off. You don't know how satisfying that is to check a box off. It's so great. So I can see that I can accomplish things and be excited for what's next. So. Yes.
How will you pursue active discipleship in your community?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's a very good question. Can I ask what community, like Sturgis or wherever I live?
Is that where you're going to live, or wherever you're going to live?
No offense, I hope not Sturgis. Not yet. Okay. No. It's good though. Yeah, I think to respond to this question, I think it's maybe not the most may not be the answer you're looking for, but this is how I believe that I would practice my discipleship. And that's like by not saying anything. Not really. It's by listening. It's by listening. Everyone here has a story, right? Right? If you don't, sorry. No, everyone has a story, and if you start listening to someone long enough, you can find something really interesting about them. And that's everybody. So, and then there's times that you listen and you realize that people are hurting, right? But that wouldn't be able to be possible unless you actually had your ears open to do that. So I think the first thing I would do is to continue my practice of listening, and then to be there in solidarity. Maybe there's things that I can't fix, but to listen and to be there with someone. There's something I learned in a common good practicum, that it makes a bigger impact than what you think it would. So.
Good answer.
Yes, Tristan.
Andy, do you still love pancakes?
I do love pancakes. So, yeah, that's a funny story, actually. I'm going to say it. So, my freshman year, I got this advice from a friend of mine, Jack Collins. He was also homeschooled, right? And he went off to college a little earlier than I did. And, talking to him one night before I came to campus, he's like, yeah, man, what you got to do is the first Saturday, you got to make pancakes. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you got to make pancakes. It's like, why? He's like, everybody knows pancakes. Okay? And so send out an invite that you're making pancakes Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. and people will come. And then just meet them that way. I'm like, okay. So Tristan's one of the guys. And for the longest time, he called me Pancake Andy. I think you can have it. So yeah, I think I have some photos up there, kind of small, but yeah, that's where I met Tristan. And actually, a lot of the people I know today was at that event. So if you don't know what to do, you don't have friends, which is I hope you do. Make pancakes. Yes.
Out of all of your talents, what is one talent that maybe you've never, ever, ever in the 3 years that you've been here, 2.5 years, that you've never told anybody that you can do or you have done?
Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't say I'm a closed book, but there are things that I tell people I don't tell others, just because I simply forget, actually. But I think a talent I have, is that I used to show pigs. I used to show pigs at a national level. So I traveled all the way, state of Michigan throughout. I traveled down to Georgia. I traveled to Denver, Colorado, right? Showing pigs. And I was really good at it. So they say, I don't know. That's maybe a talent I had. Unless you can think of another one. So I think that's kind of, not a lot of people know that about me. Yes.
What was your favorite year?
Favorite year? Yeah. Yeah, so my favorite year was my freshman year, without a doubt. And why? It's because I was filled with life, filled with hope. Now that hasn't really changed as much, but the work has gotten heavier. But my freshman year, I came walking into the doors, and mainly because this is how Holy Cross teaches all their students, is that whatever you do, you will do it well if you put your heart to it and your mind to it. And what you do matters. And another reason why it was so fun for me was that I was able to go to Poland. Going back to that one class, the statistics class, that I started off really bad with and then got okay at, right? So Dr. Fox saw that, and she's like, "Hey, Andy, you want to go to Poland with me?" And a couple other people, and we'll do some research study on growth mindset for refugees from Ukraine. And I was like, yes, let's do that. So I was able to go to Poland. And that kind of changed my life forever, for the better. It inflicted gratitude beyond, limit for what I have in my life now, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the years. Because let's face it, we're all here for a reason. We're all here because we're supposed to be here, and not everybody gets to be here because of different life scenarios. But we're here right now, and that's really cool. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna try to make and do my best to make it worthwhile. So, Luke.
What's the furthest you've been away from home?
I think it was the time we went about, I don't know, maybe 10 miles from the Ukrainian border. Yes, I think that was the trip with you. Yes.
Would you be willing to do a rematch of the great fruit roll eating competition of Saints and Scholars?
Oh man, that only belongs on video. I don't think it'll happen again. Yeah. So, but it was fun.
What's the question you'd ask yourself in 10 years? Like 10 years? Yeah. Thanks.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a good one. I think a question I'd ask myself. I think the question I'd ask is, do you think this could happen? Do you think this could happen? Let's face it, I didn't think this could happen. So, man, I can't even start to spell out or see what will happen next in life. And 10 years is a long time. So the whole world could change at that time. I think I'd answer no to that question. I don't think I could have seen it happen. So Yes.
Holy Cross related. So I liked how you started this with the getting past the wave, right? And getting out into the deep. Life's gonna be full of those waves. And you'll get out into the deep and then there may be a rogue wave or there might be a tsunami, okay? So how do you feel as if Holy Cross has prepared you now for this next journey? Because this has certainly been a journey for you to this point. And do you think now with you have some of the tools, you're equipped with those tools to help with just whatever the next wave may be for you?
Yeah, I do. Thank you very much for so yes, I think without a doubt, yes. Why? Well, Holy Cross is a small campus, right? Meaning that you see people maybe 8 or 9 times a day. So you start to, whether you like it or not, build relationships with people. And that's something that I've learned, that when you're with others, you can get through those waves a lot easier. We all try to be strong. Before coming to Holy Cross, I thought I had to be strong by myself. But I soon realized that strength in numbers makes the difference. And so learning to maybe be a little more open to the community around me, and relying on others a little more is what Holy Cross has taught me. Because we're all in this world for a reason, and I think we all want to bring good to each other. And seeing that happen here at Holy Cross is giving me hope and giving me the courage to rely on others. So yeah, I don't think I could get that anywhere else. So thank you for being part of my family.
Thank you.